So while we're waiting for Hannah to come in, why don't you take a moment if you would like to say hi to your neighbor, meet somebody new. You might need to look behind or in front of you to connect with somebody. You can have a group of 3, say your name, and just checking in for a moment or two, making friends. Yeah, join in with them, yeah.
Being of many names. The 2 main ones, yeah. And there's some nicknames that get thrown around. Mostly I introduced myself as Alana, but then all my friends who know me as Eddie have just did you call me that?
Okay. All right. Good. I hope you met somebody new. I know that last week I wasn't. So thanks to those who came last week to have more of the peer circle. I heard that was really wonderful. So I'm glad some people came to that. I was out of town. So I was actually recording the audiobook for my book. It's coming out in mid-December. December 12th is the official release date. You can pre-order it now, 30% discount on shambhala.com. You already got it? Great. There might be some cards out there with the book, my book called Embodying Tara, 21 Manifestations to Awaken Your Innate Wisdom. And there should be some little cards next to the book on the table. If you turn the card over, you'll see there might be there should be a 30% discount code written on there. So please profit from that. And I want to also remind you, some of you are new too, so it's new news that there will be a book signing here on Saturday, December 16th. I'll give a talk, I'll guide a meditation from the book, and tell stories about, share stories from the book. And I've invited Genevieve, my musician friend and colleague who has co-founded the 21 Taras Collective with me and Nina Rao. And the 3 of us have composed melodies for all of the 21 Taras. They each have a mantra. And we've gone in the studio and recorded the first 7. It's kind of kirtan style, really meant to support people's learning of the mantras and their, your contemplations of those particular mantras and taras. And I'm really happy with it. So Genevieve, the violinist, she's come here and played with me a couple times before. She might be able to come. So if she can come, we'll do a mantra from one of those 21 Tara melodies. So that's, again, Saturday, December 16th at 6:30. I hope you come and celebrate. It'll be sort of festive. And you can buy a book here also and then get it signed or bring one that you've already gotten. Shambhala says that it should be in your mailbox on the 12th, like around the 12th. It's not going to take much longer than that to get to you if you've already pre-ordered it. And then also I'm doing the first ever retreat based on the content of the book at Mount Madonna in February 15th to the 18th, right? It's over President's Weekend. So it's a Thursday to a Sunday. So you would have Monday off, which is nice. Go home and still have a day off at home. So please come and celebrate. I'll try to have a fire. We'll do some chanting around the fire on the last night. I'm going to check with Mount Madonna to make sure that's an option, but that's something I've done a lot with my teachers, and it'll be like a casual version of the traditional puja around the fire, and we'll focus on the mantras that we will have learned over the weekend, and we'll steep in them around the fire. And we'll meditate and do some gentle yoga and some dyad work, partner work, and and more mantra recitation. So that's all on my website. All of that stuff can be found on my website, which is chandraeaston.com. And Hannah, you have an announcement?
Couple of volunteer spots are open if anyone wants to come volunteer at some events coming up. Or if you just want to volunteer in general and you don't know how to do that, just come talk to me afterwards. But we are looking for volunteers to help out with the book signings. If you want to be there and help make that event happen, you can talk to me. And we also have a cacao and breathwork event happening on the 3rd, Sunday the 3rd. And it's sold out, but we do have 2 volunteer slots, someone who can show up early to help set up and someone who can stay late to help clean up. So if that sounds fun, you want to come check that out. Also come talk to me. Cool.
Great. Thank you. All right, so let's start with our prayer, our opening prayer that's on your handout. At the very top of the prayer sheet is a shloka or a phrase to Narayani as the goddess who saves beings from samsara, who comes and rescues us from suffering, the ocean of samsara. And she's very much linked to Tara. That's why I like to do her mantra. So Narayani is more of a Hindu goddess, but the more you learn about Tantra and the Buddhist and Hindu, also Jain expressions of it, you find that there's a lot of overlap and a lot of sharing of ideas of deities. Sometimes the same deity will have a few different names depending on the tradition. So Narayani and Tara are one of those examples. So if you're new, you can listen for a while. You could read the English translation that's beneath the Sanskrit, and then join in whenever you're ready. We'll do 21 repetitions tonight, so we'll cook in it. This will be like a 5 to 10 minute meditation practice, mantra yoga. So let's close our eyes and drop in, take some deep breaths, releasing tension with the out breath. And feel your body settling into your seat more fully. Notice if you're gripping or holding tension anywhere. See if you can soften that and trust the frame of your body being aligned with gravity. You don't have to hold yourself up with too much effort. And we'll arouse our motivation for being here together. You can please make it be personal, your own personal prayer of intention. Why you come, why you practice. And then infusing that, if you haven't already, with this bodhicitta aspiration, this awakened heart that aspires to be of service in the world. We practice, we evolve, we grow and heal so that we can be a place of refuge and support for others in some way, large and small. This is called bodhicitta, spirit of awakening. And then in this week of focusing on gratitude, even though we might do that all year round, taking a moment to give thanks to the earth that we sit upon now, live, love, sleep, work, all of it. Mother Earth, thank you. Acknowledging that we are on indigenous land of Lizjan Ohlone as well. And bowing, in a sense, the inner bow, or even an outer expression of gratitude and acknowledgement that those who have come before have been displaced, and so much has happened here and continues to happen, and we won't forget that. Acknowledge that. And also giving thanks to your own ancestors, whether it's family line, but even your karmic ancestors, your lineages, your mentors, your teachers, your spiritual ancestors too. Just coming to practice with a humble sense of gratitude. In a sense, that's a way that we're in right relationship with the Dharma, and the doors begin to open for us with the practice. The blessings can be received. And here we give thanks to the Great Mother in the form of Narayani. And you can repeat after me line by line, and then after that we'll do 21 together. Sharanagata dinartha, Sharanagata dinartha, Paritrana parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane, Sarvasyarti Hare Devi, Narayani Namostute, Sharanagata Dinartha, Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. Thank you. So let's stand up. We're going to do a little movement before our sit. You're here on a Tuesday. Great. All right. So what I like to do with you all sometimes is some movements. These are called the Dasha Chalanam, which means the 10 churnings. And so we move through the body at different sites, joint sites, and we mobilize them so that when we sit back down, we feel more ready to sit still. So here's your moving time, right? So movement and stillness. So get all the wiggles out now so that when you sit down, you can let the mind settle more deeply because the body can rest in stillness. So the first position is called Stamba. It's a version of, what is it called? Tadasana, the mountain pose, but with the heels are slightly together. The toes are turned out. The right hand is against the navel. The left hand is on top. Feel the shoulders relax down away from the ears. The chest is buoyant. Shoulders relaxed. And then the eyes can be open or closed. If they're open, they're gazing at an angle towards the floor, just like in meditation. Feel the jaw relax. If you notice that you're gripping the butt, just relax the glutes. Feel the heels rooting into the earth, the four corners of the feet even. And then feel the breath beneath the palms of your hands. And let that bring your mind down into your body. The mental energy begins to dissipate, and you release down into this feeling of a global experience of the full body. I'm on the tail end of a little minor cold, so I'm not contagious. It's at the very end, but I'm still a little funny sounding. If you notice that, don't worry. And then now, as we exhale, release the hands down, heels turn out a bit, feet parallel. And then the right foot steps a little bit behind the left, and you start to circle the ankle out and around. This not only gets the toes, the ankle, but also the knee and the hip and the socket. So really feel that relaxed movement, and then reverse. flowing in and around. Really root into that standing leg. And then other side. The key is to have the foot a little bit behind, even more, a little bit behind the front foot. Yeah. And then start to circle that way. Yeah. Good. Out to the outside. Keep going. The gaze will help you with your balance. And then reverse. Draw the navel back towards the spine. That helps you lift up through the crown. And then coming to center, feet hip width distance apart. We'll come up to the head and we'll work our way down the body. Exhale as you release the chin down and then start to move it to the right shoulder, then up and around like you're drawing a circle on a mirror in front of your nose. That's 1. 2. Relax the shoulders. 3, if you have any intensity or pain, don't push that. Just kind of glide right above that. Want to be mindful of the neck and the signals it's giving us. A couple more. Again, the eyes could be open or closed. If you tend to get dizzy, you can also do lateral stretches, which I'll show you now. Sometimes people do get lightheaded with this one. You can just go side to side and front to back. And next time you come around to center, reverse and go the other direction to the left. You can do as many of these as you like. Usually in this class we do about 10, but not with the head. With the head I do half because of the fragility of the neck. So we do about 5. We'll do one more. In the shadow yoga, they do 8, usually 8 reps each direction. You could do 16, 24, 32, all the way up to 108, actually. Let's do the shoulders forward, up, down, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And reverse. Because this is the only movement we're doing, I like to do a little bit more. That's why I do 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The breathing's just natural. And interlace the fingers in front of the face. Relax the ridge of the shoulders. The eyes gaze right ahead of you at the wrists. And start to circle. 1. We're doing double time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep your awareness in your feet too, all the way through the body. And 10. Good. Release the hands. I'll face the same direction as you guys. What we're going to do is spinal twists as you come around, like helicopter arms each side. So we go to the right, the left. The head turns to as an extension of the spinal column, the neck. The right hand taps the shoulder as it comes around the front. The front hand taps the shoulder. The back hand taps the kidney point, the lower floating ribs. Let the breath be in the belly. Enjoy the spiraling through the spine, relieving tension and tightness throughout the spinal column, the paraspinal muscles. And a couple more. And then last time to your left. Arms drift down and they tell the hips to start moving to the right. You're kind of drunk here a bit. It's this kind of, just let the whole upper body be really relaxed. The face is soft. The arms just dangle. Good. Just making circles with your tailbone. And then reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Step the feet together. You're going to bend from the back of the knees forward. Tailbone goes back and out. And then circle the knees. The hands are right above the knees. 2, 3, 4. Keep the heels on the ground. So this is good for the ankles too, as well as the knees. Counting is very loose tonight. So, whatever. Feels like about 10. You're probably starting to burn. It's not 10 until you burn. And then reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come on up. Feet hip width distance apart again. I'm going to do this really small because I had back surgery about 6 weeks ago, but you can make bigger wave-like motion if you want, but essentially we're just exhaling, bending the knees, butt goes back a bit, hips go forward, and then you do a wave-like movement. A lot of the folks in here already know this, so if you can look around a little bit and get the feel for it, and then close your eyes and let yourself just let it happen. The arms are relaxed. It's called Sarpa, the snake. Notice if you're gripping the feet, relax the soles of the feet. And soften the breath there. Don't, as my teacher used to say, don't puke. Let the breath be soft. Not a big ujjayi in these sequences. Last one. Inhale. Now we're going to raise the arms overhead. Chin down. Hold the breath as you bring the hands down. As they wave in front of the face, you begin to exhale. We'll do 2 more like this. So really let this be like a movement meditation. Inhale. If you like, look up. Chin down, but the breath stays like a kumbhaka, like you're holding the breath in like a vase. And then exhale. Last one. Inhale. Chin down, hold. And then exhale. Feel like you're pressing the prana, the energy down through the legs into the earth. Good. If you like, step the feet together, or you can keep them hip width distance apart. We're going to fold forward. You can just roll forward or fold with a flat back, whatever feels good to you, and do a standing forward fold, which I'm not allowed to do right now, but you can do it. Bring your hands to the floor if you wish, or to your calves, shins. That's it. Let the head traction, really let the spine go. If you need to bend a little bit in the knees, feel free to do that. Uttanasana. Standing forward fold, good. Feel the breath in the belly. Last breath. And then as you exhale, you can bend the knees and come down. Actually, don't come back up, but just squat and come down to your seat. And so now get ready for meditation. Oops. And like always, I invite you to find a position that's comfortable for you. If you realize you need another cushion or something for your knees or hips, feel free to go get that now. I want you all to have what you need. Supine meditation is also an option. That's what I've been doing while I've been in this phase of my life, it's been really wonderful to know that I can meditate even if I can't sit upright. So it's one of the positions taught by the Buddha, lying meditation. I think classically if I'm not sure how he articulated it, but like if you've ever been to Thailand, there's a sleeping Buddha where you lie on your right side. I'm going to teach that one day, but not tonight. It's called the lion's pose. But tonight, if you wish, you can lie on your back or sitting upright or in a chair, finding a comfortable seat. And then allowing the eyes to close. We'll start with the eyes closed tonight. And let the breath flow naturally in and out, releasing any tendency to control the breath. Now we're moving into more of a mindfulness practice, a mindfulness of the breath is simply being aware of the breath, whether it's shallow or deep, long or short. Rather than fixing it, we are just aware of what is. It's such a relief, we might not have many places or times in our life where we can just let ourselves be without fixing or changing or critiquing or efforting. It might even feel like an effort not to effort in the beginning. So the trick is with each exhalation, letting go, unraveling, releasing into a quality of being here now, into presence. And the mind is like a mirror. It shows you right away where you're not releasing. So notice, there's the fantasy, there's the memory, there's the thought. That entails some degree of grasping, some degree of efforting, clinging, a stickiness like Velcro, where the mind sticks to the thought. So see if you can begin to soften that with the breath, releasing with the out-breath, and coming back to this experience of being present in the moment, feeling that velvety flow of the breath in and out of the body, and releasing, grasping with the out-breath, like a solvent. The breath, in a way, is like a solvent that dissolves that glue of the ego, the glue of the thinking mind, fixating on the thoughts in this perpetual cycle. Releasing with the out-breath. And let yourself just be here, a human being. And you'll begin to notice this internal atmosphere, this feeling of a mood you may have come in with, or a general sensation you've had throughout your day. So again, without needing to fix or change or analyze, can you just breathe with it and then soften any ego fixation with the out-breath? Any labeling of like, oh, I'm so depressed. Okay, there's the I thought. Relax that. Like release the grip of the I, the sense of I and mine. Each thought is an opportunity to see it like you're looking in the mirror of the mind. And then release. and come back to this quality of presence in the moment, in the body, the field of sensations of the breath as it flows in and out of the body. If the general field of sensations of the breath in the body is too vague or broad of an anchor for your mind, then I invite you to feel the sensations of the breath in the belly as you breathe. The rising and the falling of the breath in the belly. Maybe a swirl of energy or sensation or temperature there. Just let the mind, if you like, get a bit more focused on that area of the breath as your anchor, as your mindfulness anchor, the object of your attention. It's a gentle way to train the mind to stay in the moment and stay with the body and the breath. Releasing fantasy, memories, rumination, regret, anything, feelings, thoughts that arise. Notice and release. And rest in that feeling of the breath in the body, whether the whole body or the belly. For those of you who are more experienced in meditation, see if you can begin to at least spend more of your time unified with the anchor, the breath and the body, than you spend lost in thought. Can you spend as much or more time with the mind unified with the breath, rather than fused and drifting off with thoughts, distractions? Even if you're new to practice, you can even aspire, begin to move in that direction. Releasing distraction with the out-breath, coming back again and again. See if you can stay. Stay with the breath in the body, but with a quality of spaciousness and relaxation. Now, with this quality of mindfulness, we'll simply shift the anchor from the breath to the mind itself. And we do this by gently opening the eyes and gazing at a comfortable angle towards the floor. The soft gaze, relaxing the muscles behind the eyes. Feel free to blink as needed. And now feel as if you're gazing into the domain of the mind itself, within which thoughts, impressions, sensations arise and pass. This is called settling the mind in its natural state. And the anchor or the object of attention becomes the domain of the mind itself. Not the thoughts, but that quality of the mind that is aware of thoughts. Rest in that experience. And thoughts are simply like clouds that bubble up and pass away. They don't change the sky, just like thoughts don't change the space of the mind. And just like before, releasing tension or grasping, fixation onto thought with the out-breath. And if a thought is particularly entrenched, you can ask yourself, who is? Then fill in the blank. Like if you're angry, who's angry? And then look and relax and rest. Who's distracted? Who's tired? Look and relax and rest in that quality of the space-like nature of mind, free of center or periphery. This quality of awareness that pervades space, pervades thought, pervades the body and sensations. Dullness sets in, brighten the internal space like you're turning up the dial. Take a deep breath. You can raise the gaze a little bit. On the other hand, if the mind is agitated and lost in excitation, again, the breath is your tool, but relax with the exhalation, soften and settle in more deeply into stability. Stabilizing your awareness, settling the mind in its natural state, free of grasping, free of distraction. Let thoughts naturally liberate themselves of their own accord, like a cloud dissolving back into the sky. And now for the final phase of our meditation tonight, allow the eyes to gently close once again. And notice the non-dual nature of the outer and the inner. The space of the mind pervades the body, but also the space around you. And rest in this quality of mindfulness, of being with what is in the moment, free of grasping, free of distraction. And now we'll include a bit of intentional cultivation of qualities of mind in this last phase of the practice, like more of a discursive meditation. And this feeling of gratitude is like the greater attitude that we can continue to cultivate, especially on this week of giving thanks in any way that feels alive for you, free of even the cultural trappings, whether we believe in it or not. This more expansive recognition of the gifts in our life. Feeling a sense of gratitude for even just this moment, the breath and this body, the food we eat, the air we breathe, the chirping of the birds, the rising of the sun each morning. The 13th century German Catholic mystic Meister Eckhart said, "If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough." So I'll guide you through a simple gratitude practice. Just again noticing the inhalation and the exhalation. And with the inhalation, feel the quality of receiving the breath. And with the exhalation, feel the quality of giving the breath. Just this simple dynamic of receiving with the in-breath and giving with the out-breath. You may notice if the breath has a certain texture or temperature, a quality, even a color. But notice what is there without imposing anything. It's receiving with the in-breath and giving with the out-breath. Soothe the body and mind into a natural breathing rhythm for a while. Receiving with the in-breath and giving with the out-breath. And now, with the inhalation, begin to feel gratitude for whatever you cherish in your life, like the natural beauty around you, your health, another person or pet. And take that in with the in-breath and enjoy that. And then with the exhalation, feel the quality of generosity. It's offering love, space, compassion, understanding, whatever you wish to that object of attention. And give that out of a sense of abundance. The out-breath is an offering and a letting go. So you may spend a few breaths, maybe 5 breaths with one object, like a pet or person, and spend some time with each one, 5 to 10 breaths. The inhalation, feeling gratitude for whatever you cherish, like your health. And with the exhalation, feel the quality of generosity, spaciousness, with that sense of abundance. Give that to your body. An offering and a letting go with the out-breath. And let your mind roam freely, contemplating what you're grateful for. Maybe people, experiences, qualities of your life. Really feel each one in your body as you breathe. And you might simply say in a whisper, "Thank you," internally or quietly under your breath. "Thank you," again and again, as you feel what you're grateful for naturally arising in you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And in the spirit of the Lojong, the mind training, where we turn towards all of life, life as path, can you be thankful or grateful to everything, for everything, even the challenging? What would that feel like if you opened up and even felt that sense of gratitude for everything? Could you even say thank you to those challenging people or circumstances, those opportunities to learn more about yourself, learn patience, compassion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, thank you for your practice. You feel even a sense of gratitude for giving yourself the gift of practice. Let's all pat ourselves on the back. Thank you. Thank you. Give yourself a hug. You got yourself here. Thank you. The last class we had sometimes the themes of the season or the week align with the theme of the slogan that we're doing. Like a couple weeks ago was Halloween, and it was a death contemplation. Some of us were here. We learned about the bardo and different bardos and these intermediary spaces, in between spaces, between one life and the next, one thought and the next. A few years ago, I was teaching these slogans, and during the week of Thanksgiving, we were on a totally different slogan. It was one of my favorites, which is "Be grateful to everyone." I think we've already learned that one a month or two ago, but that's a good one, and that kind of encapsulates the practice we just did at the end there. It's like, can we be grateful to everyone, even our enemies, so-called evil people? Not so easy. And yet, at the very least, they teach us how to be more patient or grow our heart to a greater degree of capacity of compassion, or motivate us to get off our butt and do something, be of benefit in some way. Not always easy to do. But tonight, we're on a slogan. This mind training has 54 slogans, and we're on the 19th. So would somebody like to read the 19th slogan? It's on that other handout you may have gotten when you came in. And by the way, you can keep these handouts if you like, take them home, or hand them back to Hannah at the end of the night. Number 19. Who would like to read it out loud?
All dharmas agree at one point.
Good. All dharmas agree at one point. And you may notice above the number 19, we're in a new chapter, so to speak. They call them points. This is a 7-point mind training. So we're on the 5th point. I also like to say it's kind of like a chapter within which there are a bunch of slogans. So this 5th point consists of just 4 slogans that help us evaluate how the mind training is going for us. How are we doing? So can we understand that all dharmas agree at one point? So what does this mean? I want to offer a little bit more about this actual line, because another translation, this is the Chogyam Trungpa translation that you just read, Eric. There's another one by Dzigar Kongtrul Rinpoche, another contemporary. He's still alive, a teacher. He translates it as all instructions have one aim. So it's slightly different. All instructions have one aim. So when I see different versions of translations, whenever I can, I go back to the Tibetan. I studied Tibetan, I translate Tibetan, so I can do that, which is interesting and fun for me. And the Tibetan line is Chukun Gongpa Chiktu De. Chukun Gongpa Chiktu De. Chu means Dharma. It's the Tibetan word for Dharma, which can mean like the Buddha's teachings of Dharma, but it can also mean like phenomena, reality. But in this context, it's probably Dharma, like Dharma teachings. And that's why Kongtrul got this idea of instructions. Kun means all. So Chukun is like all Dharma or all instructions. Gongpa chikdudu means basically converge into one point, or like du is the verb at the end of the line, and it means to like gather, consolidate, bring together. I think of it like a drawstring, bringing things together. And so gongpa chik is the one intent or aim. That's why Kongtrul says aim. Trungpa loosely translated is like agree at one point. But Gongpa Chikdu De means basically to gather together into one aim, one intent. Sometimes the word Gongpa means intention or intent. Sometimes it even implies enlightened intent. It's a word that's often used with the Buddhas, like teachers and Buddhas, like the intent of the Buddhas or the enlightened intent, Gongpa. But here it can just be also more of a mundane aim. And so, what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, as many of you know who've been coming regularly, since the aim of all Dharma practice is to, well, in both the Mahayana in particular and the earlier vehicles like Theravada and so on, Theravada was one of 17 early lineages, so-called Sutrayana or Hinayana, which is a derogatory term for the early teachings that the Mahayanas kind of came up with to assert themselves as better than, which I think kind of sucks. Hinayana means lesser vehicle, so I try not to use that term. But a lot of people don't know that Theravada is not the only stream of the early teachings. It's one of 17. It's really the only one that still survives. That's why we call the early Buddhist teachings Theravada, which simply means the way of the elders. It's a beautiful tradition, but it's not the only one that existed. In any case, that's my footnote. So back to the main point. Since the aim of all Dharma, both within the Mahayana and the early teachings, Theravada, is simply to essentially tame our ego fixation, tame ego clinging, or we could say soften it, or dissolve it, or heal it, that part of ourself that is fixated on ourself and defending this idea of me and mine, and don't criticize me, or don't take my things. In Buddhism, whether you feel ready for that or not, that's the main aim of Dharma, is to lessen ego clinging and conversely increase other cherishing, meaning being concerned for others even more than we're concerned for ourselves. And so if that's happening for you, then your Dharma practice is working. And that is the main aim of Dharma practice. It's not to levitate or to read minds or to, inflate the ego as you get deeper and deeper into realization. No, I mean, you're totally missing the point if that's what happens. It's actually about reducing this puffed up sense of self. Ego clinging should decrease. And so if your Dharma practice is not counteracting ego clinging, your practice isn't happening. It's not working. So this is how we evaluate mind training. Like, is this working for you? Is this really working for you? Do you feel in your life a sense of lessening of the suffering really that comes from, I need this. I mean, next time you're suffering, if you can remember to ask yourself, what's the thought there? What's the I statement? It's usually, it's an I statement. I don't have enough of this. I don't have the perfect partner. I'm not good enough. I'm a piece of shit. It's I. It's an I thought there that's creating the driving like the engine of the suffering. And I've said this before. I just love this quote from Shantideva. And this is really an invitation for you to test this out for yourself because it's a pretty strong statement. He said, all the suffering in the world comes from only thinking of oneself. And all the joy in the world comes from thinking of others. So, test that out for yourself. Notice when you're suffering, where's the I thought? What are you thinking? And if you can loosen that up or be concerned with others, oh, I don't need that. Why don't you take that today? We do things that's sort of benevolence. It lifts our spirits. It makes us feel better. So what they say in the commentaries of this slogan is, since this degree of is your ego fixation diminishing with your Dharma practice, that's really the one criterion that determines whether Dharma practice is effective or not. It's like the yardstick by which a Dharma person is measured. It's a sign of maturity. So that's the main point that all Dharma converges on, is that. Okay, so everyone wants to be happy. We seek genuine fulfillment in our life. And what they say in Dharma is that if you're not on the spiritual path, if you're not on the Dharma path, then often you are pursuing the sources of your satisfaction typically related to what are called the 8 mundane concerns. Meaning you're trying to find your happiness within those. And what are they? They are praise and blame. That's the first pair. Success and failure. That's the second pair. Wealth and poverty. Fame and lack of recognition. 8 mundane concerns. Basically, those are all different variations on the main theme, which is hope and fear. Okay? And so also asking yourself, I have to ask myself too, what is my motivation here? Teaching Dharma. Do I want fame? Do I want wealth? Well, wealth definitely doesn't come with teaching Dharma, I'll tell you that much. In case you're thinking of changing your career, don't. Keep your day job. Right? Also the yoga teachers in here probably feel the same way. Oh my God, when I first started teaching Dharma, this praise and blame, when you start teaching, you really have to watch out for that. Because the original intention is to help people and to share what you love. That's the truth. But then there's also this veneer of oh, I hope people liked my teaching. I hope they think I'm cool, or there's the ego coming in. Oh, and then if somebody criticizes you, then it's you're gonna die. You just can't show your face in class again because somebody hated your teaching. It's just it's so glaring, especially when you're kind of in a public space. It's funny. It's been a great teacher for me, and that's why I tell my students who are starting to teach, really watch that praise and blame, fame and non-recognition, because that you could go way astray with that, especially and also as practitioners, not even just as a teacher, but as practitioners. If you start getting good signs, having bliss, there's the ego is just this little devil just coming ready to latch on with its little tail and horns or whatever. Here I am, aren't you so great? You're such a good meditator, and then the ego wants to more and more and more. So it's okay, you can enjoy praise or success or wealth and fame, but also find ways to give back, share the abundance. And that's the other side of gratitude is generosity, right? That's the breath that we were doing. And a friend of mine taught me this once, like when you give a gift, you don't have to say this out loud. You could just think it, or you could say it out loud. May this increase a millionfold, you know? So like say you give somebody some money, you pay them back money, as you're giving it to them, rather than being like, shit, I wish I didn't have to give this money back. I could really use it. Just give it with this feeling of like, may it increase a millionfold for you, like really offering that up. And so it's also a shift in our own approach. So what they say is that if you're motivated by any of these 8 worldly concerns or mundane concerns, it's often called, then you're not really practicing the Dharma. A true practitioner should always check, and that's always it. Check up on yourself from time to time. Check in. Okay, what's my motivation? What am I doing here? And then see if is it imbued with altruism, and hopefully it's not clouded by these thoughts of the 8 mundane concerns: praise and blame, success and failure, wealth and poverty, and then fame and lack of recognition. You do something, you want to be recognized for it, and then you suffer if somebody doesn't give you the kind of accolades you wanted. That's a good example. Like, can you be cool with, or if the right person needs to be recognized, then stating it without too much clinging attached to it. When somebody, this is an interesting place to practice this, is when somebody gives you a compliment. One of my teachers said that she was in an interview with the Tibetan Lama, and she was able to ask him some questions. And one of the questions she asked him is, what do I do with praise? What do I do when somebody gives me a compliment? And he said, you can hold on to it for 2 minutes and then let it go. I really liked that, because that gets into a little bit of a nuance, especially for those who, maybe we're really insecure. Maybe we were told we weren't good when we were a kid. So it's nice to start to believe in ourselves and feel that the world reflecting that back to us. That's good. Gives us a healthy sense of ego. So we get to hold on to it for a couple minutes, but then let it go. So that is the main point. Also, in terms of shamatha, what we do a lot here in the class is meditative concentration through mindfulness, practice of the breath or the mind itself. These are all concentration practices. And what one teacher, Tara Rinpoche, said to my teacher, Alan, was that it's so important to cultivate wholesome mental states, wholesome ways of thinking, even before you start kind of drilling into shamatha, single-pointed intention. Because if you're not cultivating, patience, compassion, altruism, generosity, ethics, and so on, then if you're only focusing on concentrating the mind, as soon as you get up from the cushion, if you're met with a challenge of like an annoying child, which I have one right now, it's driving me crazy, then you could just still have the same reactions as anyone, whether they're a meditator or not, spiritually minded or not. That shamatha is not going to make you a better person. Can make you a happier person. It can bring great qualities, but it won't uproot the mental states that may be entrenched in us that cause harm and cause us harm. So that's why we balance. That's why almost within every sit, we'll do some shamatha, vipassana even, insight, but then some form of compassion practice, whether it's tonglen or even this generosity practice. These are more contemplative, discursive ways of cultivating qualities in our mind. So we're at time, so I'll wrap that up. I think that is basically the gist. Coming back to the the slogan, all dharmas agree on one point, basically understanding that the criteria for having gained proficiency in Lojong and mind training is summed up in this one aim, which is really keeping in check and watching and pacifying this tendency to grasp at a separate sense of self. Because it doesn't exist, actually. Big secret. We think we are an independently existing entity, but really we exist within relationship to everything around us, the causes and conditions that brought us into being. I exist in relationship to your perception of me. Also, that's the quantum physics psychedelic aspect of it all. It's like, whoa. It doesn't mean that if you all close your eyes, I disappear. It just means that the way you experience Chandra is filtered through your perception. So we are co-arising together in that moment, in this moment, in this moment. So let's close. Let's close with a sense of dedication of the positive energy that we've cultivated through our practice together. That kind of open-handed offering up to all beings everywhere. May this be of benefit. And in that act of generosity, that becomes limitless. That energy becomes limitless when we give it away. Thank you, everybody. So if you're traveling or going to be with family, you could bring this contemplation into that. Like, okay, if somebody says something challenging, well, okay, I'm getting defensive. First of all, can I, breathe and try to find the most skillful way to respond, but also in some way, even if it's really annoying, find some gratitude to that person because they're helping you practice in that moment. Patience. Patience is the essence of virtue. Patience is the essence of dharma, is the famous saying. Patience is the essence of dharma. So, with that, have a wonderful holiday wherever you are, with family or chosen cats and dogs, wherever you are. And I'll see you next week. And please enjoy the tea out there and build community if you'd like to hang around and talk Dharma shop. Please do. And yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Wait, there was one other thing, wasn't there? No Christmas. No, just thinking ahead, looking ahead. There's no Tuesday class right after Christmas, the 26th. All right. Thank you.
We're stacking cushions tonight. If we could keep the purple and the green separate, that'd be great because the purple are all brand new cushion covers and the green we're going to send away to get washed this week. So it'll just be nice if they're in separate stacks.
All right.
Does that go for the
Yeah, all the cushions, both types. Yeah. They're brand new covers. We got extra.
The big ones are the zabutans and the small ones are zafus. That's Japanese phrase, words for them.
Katie taught me a way to remember it is.
Yeah.
Don't put zabat on zabutan.
Wait, what?
Don't put zabat on zabutan.
Nice.
So it's like, zabut, but it's like opposites.
That's good.
Weirdly sticks in my head though.
Don't put zabat on the zabutan. Yeah. I remember it with zabutan is a bigger word than zafu. So the zabutan is a bigger pillow than the zafu.